This is a CBS News special report. I'm Jeff Glor, reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York. Good day. Bill Cosby has just been sentenced to prison. The actor and comedian, now 81 years old, was ordered to serve 3 to 10 years for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constand. This happened 14 years ago at Cosby's suburban Philadelphia mansion. This is a shot inside the courthouse of people leaving the courtroom right now. The judge also ruled that Cosby is a sexually violent predator, which means he must register as a sex offender and then get monthly counseling, which will start after he leaves prison. But we've now learned that he'll be in prison for some time. Jerika Duncan is at that courthouse in Norristown, Pennsylvania. We're going to check in with Jerika in just a moment. But first, let's bring in CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman. Ricky, your reaction.
I think that ultimately the sentence not only was fair, it's within the guidelines if you look at it. The guidelines in the state of Pennsylvania for this type of crime were 22 to 36 months, which means serving. In Pennsylvania, you get a minimum and a maximum. Here he's been given 3 years, 36 months. That is what he will serve when he is eligible for parole, with a maximum of 10 years, meaning if he is paroled, then he will undergo parole restrictions for the remaining of the 10. In addition, you've mentioned that he was declared by the judge after a hearing as a sexually violent predator. That will affect him once he is out of prison.
So the one big piece of information we're still waiting for, though, is the bail issue and whether he goes straight to prison or is out for a time beforehand.
And that may be for him just as important as the 3 to 10 years, because he will move to this judge. If this judge denies it, his lawyers will immediately go to an appellate judge, and they will ask that his sentence be stayed pending appeal. And what they mean by that is they want him to go home while the appeal is pending. And the reason for that, in his particular situation, is his age. Because his appeal, which could take a couple of years, and if it is ultimately decided in his favor, no court really wants him serving a sentence that could be reversed. But this judge is very confident, I am sure, that he did not commit judicial error.
All right, we mentioned Jerika's outside the courtroom. Let's go to Jerika now, if we can. Jerika, what are you hearing and seeing there?
Well, we're hearing people loud, we're hearing people shouting. We're also hearing that the judge said that the verdict, the jury's verdict from April, must be heard loud and clear. Also hearing that several of the accusers of Bill Cosby are in that courtroom, and as that sentence was read, they were arm in arm, some of them even sobbing. You can only imagine what Andrea Constand must be feeling in all of this. She actually read a very small portion of her victim's impact statement yesterday, but we were able to get a full copy of what she said to the court, and I just want to read some of this to give you a sense of what she must be feeling right now. She says, "I have often asked myself why the burden of being the sole witness in 2 criminal trials had to fall to me. The pressure was enormous," she said, "but I had to testify. It was the right thing to do." She goes on to say, "Bill Cosby took my beautiful, healthy young spirit and crushed it. He robbed me of my health and vitality, my open nature, and my trust in myself and others. I am looking forward to looking forward," she says. "I want to get to the place where the person I was meant to be gets a second chance." So again, just to reiterate, this case goes back almost 3 years when Bill Cosby was charged with aggravated indecent assault at the end of December in 2015, close to the time that the statute of limitations was about to run out. The district attorney's office reopens this case. It goes to trial in 2017, but as you recall, it was a mistrial because the jury could not reach a unanimous verdict. But in that second trial in April, it was a conviction on all counts for Bill Cosby. And as you mentioned, now hearing that he will be going to state prison, 3 to 10-year sentence. We are getting emails right now as we speak from people inside. It's our understanding that the appeals arguments are underway, so we're still not quite sure what that means in terms of the bail, whether or not Bill Cosby will ultimately be able to go home tonight or whether he will spend time in a county correctional facility and then be transferred to the State Correctional Institute of Phoenix. A court official earlier told me if he is remanded, he will be brought out in handcuffs, and he will be processed at the Montgomery County Correctional Facility about 6 miles from here. But obviously, we're waiting to hear from some of those accusers, as well as Andrea Constant, the woman at the heart and soul of this case.
Okay, Jerika, thanks very much. We do have a radio reporter inside the courtroom who has said, Ricky, that there were 7 victims in a row behind him, arm in arm, all crying as this took place. As Bill Cosby again sentenced today, just moments ago, to 3 to 10 years in prison. Jerika, Ricky was talking a little bit about where he will end up. Can you talk about that for just a moment?
Sure. Jerika is correct that he will be assessed first at the Montgomery County facility, and then he is going to go into a state prison system. Now, when he is assessed, he could wind up in general population, which are cells of 2 people each. He could also wind up in a medical facility, which is highly likely in terms of his health, his blindness, and a medical facility being at the state prison. State prisons, by the way, in Pennsylvania in particular, they do have facilities for people who are older and have difficulties.
Breaking news just coming in. We just heard the judge has refused Cosby's request for bail.
Not a surprise to me.
Straight to prison.
Straight to prison. They will now go straight up, that is his lawyers, to try to get a stay pending appeal based on errors that they believe were committed at the trial. They have a laundry list of errors. They have substantial issues for appeal. They are not frivolous.
Okay. Ricky Kleeman, thank you very much.